looking around for things to eat, and I found some chicken deep down in my freezer, which I didn't even know I had. And I had a couple of portabello mushrooms, and I found some fresh basil. Now I forgot where I was. Just when I was doing this, my son called me from North Carolina, and I'm on the phone. I forgot where I was. Anyway, we're going to take these portabello mushrooms and scrape all of this fin out, then slice it up, and we're going to saute this, and then the white wine. There's no flour, so it's gluten-free. No, it's not gluten-free because we're using couscous, which is pasta. So, and what I've been using a lot of, only because every time I make something, when I use this kitchen magic seasoning, I call it Cajun seasoning, they just love the flavor. So we're just going to put this on the chicken. I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to put some olive oil in the pan, and this is going to be quick. Saute everything. Meanwhile, the couscous right here, and you know, when you cook this, just follow the directions. I follow the directions. The only thing I did, they say put a quarter of a teaspoon of salt. I go, oh, that's ridiculous. I put a half a teaspoon of salt and a quarter teaspoon of pepper for this amount. And you double the amount of liquid, which has to be boiling. Now, it can be stock, any kind of stock you like, chicken, vegetable, beef, if that's what you want, or just plain water, which I'm using. So we're going to put the water into the couscous, put a tablespoon of olive oil in it, and then just push it off to the side, because you don't have to do anything to couscous. And it cooks all by itself. It's a great item. And if you fluff it up, and you have to be careful that you don't over liquid it. So you do it a few times, but the directions are usually correct. Double the amount of liquid, and there we have the water's boiling. And don't let it reduce, or you're going to have less than what you need. So we're just going to take this, and I'm going to pour it right into the couscous without burning myself. Give it a stir. And actually what I do, even though I just turn the heat on for a second, and the second I see one little bubble, then I shut it off and cover it up. So we're not going to waste time looking at this and waiting for the water to boil or just a bubble come up. There they are. Okay, so I shut it off, cover it up, push it out of the way, and now we'll get back to sauteing. So this is going to be quick, and we have a nice high flame. I have everything sitting here ready to go right in there. Olive oil or butter, or olive oil and butter. That way the butter won't burn. And we're putting everything in there in one shot. Dice up the mushrooms. You don't have to use portabello. You can use any kind of mushroom you like. And you don't have to do what I said by mixing up the chicken, because when it goes in there, it's going to be mixed up. Oh, that's pretty good. I didn't miss. Got everything in. that Cajun seasoning does have salt in it, and it all depends on how much you like. It's also a little spicy, but then if you like spicier, it's all up to you. Well, that's a good sound that you hear, which means that the stuff is not going to like boil. It's sauteing. It's on the highest flame that I have, and hopefully it'll maintain this sizzling. If I get a little color, that's fine. If I don't get any color, it's okay. And you really have to keep on stirring this because you want to cook all of the chicken evenly. As you see, some pieces are cooking there and others look raw. And the couscous will be ready and waiting for this. This time I made a lot of chicken and less of the, let's say, the starch, the couscous. Quite often when I'm making something, I use a lot of starch and not as much protein. But this is chicken with a little couscous, not couscous with a little chicken. Coming along very nicely. The color looks great. Oh, if I had some chopped parsley fresh, don't ever use dry because it just doesn't have any taste, just the color. And fresh scallions would look nice over this. But I just happened to find these ingredients in the refrigerator a couple of hours ago looking around, and I go, oh, let me make a video. Because I know I don't have one of just chicken like this with a lot of fresh basil. And it's a lot of fresh basil. And if I have I could also put in there which I'm going to slice up as we're talking. Nothing wrong with having a little bit of pickle in there. So we have pickle, and then we cut it down the middle, and then we'll not a lot. This is optional, but it's going to give us a nice little flavor there. And this is almost done. See, the pieces are getting firm. Or olives would go very nicely here too. Or capers. And now we're going to add just a little bit of some dry white wine, not much, 1/4 of a cup. It'll reduce right into the chicken. And we want this dry, we don't want this wet looking. So I'm going to taste a piece of chicken just to make sure there's enough salt. And There's enough for me. And there's enough spice in there too. But when my wife eats it, she's going to sprinkle a little more salt on it. And that little piece of chicken was cooked. Now how about I take a large piece. Oh, they're done. When you press on them and there's no give, like so, we'll shut that off. Now we'll go over to the couscous. Take a look at it. Fluff it up a little. Nice and colorful, this tri-colored couscous. Let's taste it for if I put too much salt in. I don't think so. Not at all. That is done. Now we're going to mix it with that. I'm not going to put the couscous on a plate and then top it off with the chicken. I don't want that. I want this all together. Now see how easy that couscous is? You really can't go wrong. The only time you can go wrong if you happen to have a bag of couscous and the directions aren't there and you forgot what the ratio is. I remember the first time I made it, they gave me this big 5-pound bag of couscous and said, here, cook this. And I'm going, oh God, the first time. So actually the first time it came out a little bit sticky, but that was the last time it came out sticky. Because if you underdo it, you can always add a bit more liquid, but you can't take it out. Now we definitely need something green. Oh, we have something green. My brain is dead. How about all that delicious basil? Now if I thought it tasted pretty good, it's going to taste even better now. That's a good amount of basil. So now we don't need any green. If I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing here, I would have just put this on the plate and go, oh, enjoy. And the basil would have been sitting there all alone. Now it has friends in here. Now I have to taste this first, because what's better than fresh basil? If I had tomatoes in there, it would be really good. But that's okay. Now, you could serve this as an appetizer. Put it in a chafing dish for a buffet. So I'm going to have a little appetizer of this, and that's a good amount. Not for the appetizer. I'm just saying it's a good amount. The couscous was the right amount for the amount of chicken that went in there. We're not being cheap this time. And there is my appetizer. Actually, it's my dinner. So, how's that? It tastes good. It looks good. And I'm going to enjoy it. And I hope when you make it, you enjoy it too.